small cars in this region?
Overall, the small cars is the most growing segment, also globally. It's getting more and more important because of the fuel economy pressure we have in many regions. The US is getting now especially much more important. The prediction is quite high, what we expect to sell. Not naming a number, but it's almost similar to what we intend to sell in China and also in Europe. So 3 markets almost at the same level. And then also in South America, as you know, the small cars in general are very important. And here in the Middle East, I say yes, because the smaller the car, the more difficult it is to get a good balance of all requirements. Meanwhile, everybody expects a car to be in the small car segment as safe as a big car. So, as well as having fun to drive, has all the equipments on electronic devices in the car. Comfort features should be the same, but the price should be low. And as you can imagine, this is a big stretch. Also package all these technical solutions into a small car is much more difficult than do it in a big car. So I would say that's one of the more challenging tasks for engineers and for the industry to make a small car attractive, but also profitable. We did a very good job. We have, as I indicated in my presentation, it's the safest car in the small car segment. We've got very good promises where we're going to be. Our predictions in the US. In Europe, it's already measured to be 5-star Euro NCAP. And you look in the details, you will find that's the best car ever measured as a small car. If you look at pedestrian protection and other measures which are within the NCAP rating. And in the US also we expect to be, finally when the official ratings comes out, to be the best or with the best. And looking also at the cost and the features we have and how the car drives, we think we found a very good balance. We also have a very modular approach in this car so that we can specialize it for specific markets. So it's not that we have one solution fits all. So we have specific setups for the respective requirements in the different markets. So for example, automatic transmission setups, they're not generalized that Europe, Korea, and Middle East is the same. It's look what's required for those markets, and then we try to really adapt it to the needs of the customer in that market. Yeah, that was actually exactly what we had in mind, that we do a modern, a little bit more young, a little more aggressive design to attract younger people. That's why we did the motorcycle cluster in the interior, as well as the round without headlamps. And Chevrolet is a car which has to be a little bit more, it's supposed to be a little bit more tough and sporty, but also very functional. So that balance you have today, that the normal use in a day-to-day usage, that it's natural where to put things, it's easy to get in the car, easy to maneuver the seats, easy to adjust, that we have a good overall view in the car, that we have storage spaces all where we need them for sunglasses or telephones. So the practicality in the car, beside the sportiness, that was our little stretch we wanted to do. Okay. Because sometimes if you have a sporty car, it's not always practical. You have it's easy to make sporty cars, but then you have not enough space in the rear seat. Okay. Our car looks sporty, but has still the best room in it. I think Korea was always a very important part of GM. We have a lot of exports into all kind of countries from Korea. As I said, that's the operation which has the cars which goes in the most diverse countries in the world. So many other operations, they have also big volume, but they don't have to serve many markets. Korea serves 140 markets with cars, so it means they have to understand all the requirements and what's important, what can I trade off in those countries when I define the car. So it's an historic knowledge they have. And therefore they are very important. We have already launched the car in Korea first, then in China, and in Orion in New York, in in North America, in the United States.
All right.
And there's 2 more to go. Is already launched in the European market. Also will be served from Korea as the Middle East. In Europe, it's more the hatchback. So the notchback is almost, at least in the western part, not really important in the small car segment. Whereas in the US, I think the sedan is much more important. In China, it's a little bit balanced, but also a little bit more tending towards the four-door, the sedan. Korea also sedan. Here, a little bit more the sedan. So except Europe, Western Europe, I think the sedan is very, very important. Over about 500,000 units per year. As I said, I cannot talk about future models, but I would say the architecture is set up in a so modular way that you could do all kind of variants of it. So you can do different wheelbases, you can do high seating, high cowl cars. You can have the cowl a little bit more forward or a little bit more backwards. So the architecture is done in a way that without touching the architecture, we can create cars which differ than in this kind of aspect. Yeah, absolutely. So we have in different markets different main competitors. For example, in Europe we had the Hyundai. Also the Hyundai Accent or Kia Pride is something we were targeting, but also in some really developed markets we think we're very well positioned to compete with anybody. Also with Fiesta and with the Polo.
Interesting, but
I would say we have set up the team in Korea very international. So there is all the knowledge is there. So as I'm there now for 6 years. I've done the architectures in Germany. So we have a colleague from Brazil who has all the knowledge from the Brazilian market. So I thought we brought everybody into the team to consider the best of the best. So I would say the quality and technical details of this car is absolutely competitive with a car like with a European design car. On our car we've had very high focus on ride-in handling. So if you do this car, for example, and compare it to the best we have at the moment in Europe, like Fiesta, for example, or Polo, this car can easily compete with those. And we look from a practicality perspective. We look at the storage items. Also I think we might be the best compared to anybody. I think it's an international car, and if you drive it, it feels actually like a European-based developed car.
all right. Thank you very much.